This next video is about the hype of selling cookies for about $1,000 a month. Shout out to Mama Cooks. She has a YouTube channel. Go over to her channel and show her some love. I did take some clips from her video, a lot of clips from her video. So if you can learn from it, watch the video.
You are looking to earn extra income fast. It is not lost on me, and it is no secret that the economy is inflated. A lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck and are actually looking for a side hustle or a way to earn extra income. But this would be considered extra income. A lot of you out there are looking for ways to do just that. I want to preface this by saying, do your due diligence. Make sure that when you are creating a product to sell, whether it's cookies or cakes or muffins or whatever it is, check your local counties, cities, health departments, your local state, as far as food cottage laws. This video is really not going to tell you the laws when it comes to this. I'm just going to give you an idea that you can essentially turn into extra income. So do your due diligence. First way that you can make a classic cookie would be store-bought dough. I know, a lot of you are probably cringing at the idea of store-bought doughs. I'm gonna give you an example of a personal experience when it came to someone selling baked goods. So 20 years ago, I remember there was a lady that would come by the office twice a week, and she would sell freshly baked homemade cookies. A lot of us were like, oh, these cookies were so good. They were perfect. They were a great midday pick-me-up, and come back tomorrow because we'll probably want more. And it turns out she was just selling the store-bought cookie dough, Toll House cookie dough. And she would bake them, package them up. And at the time, I think she was selling a dozen of the regular size Toll House cookies for about, I want to say it was like somewhere between $5 to $7 for a dozen. And this was 20 years ago. And she was very upfront about it. And you know what? We didn't care, because she brought us a baked cookie, even though she didn't make the dough from scratch. But it was so convenient for us workers that could not leave the office. We needed a pick-me-up. We were working long hours, and she brought it right to the office, right to our doorstep. We didn't have to leave. We didn't have to go and pick up anything outside of work. And that was with store-bought dough. So that brings me to what I'm going to show you now. If I had to make an extra $100 today, I would go to the store, buy this tub of cookie dough. This bucket costs $7.99, we'll say $8, and I will show you the math later. But this is kind of a way that you can make it convenient on yourself if you are going to start selling cookies. This idea is for my beginner cooks, people that just aren't seasoned bakers and they need a quick emergency way to make cash. You tap into your friends and family, word of mouth, and if you can come up with 10 orders, you definitely can meet that $100 quota in a week or in a day, if you really put in the time and effort to find your consumer. But this is how I would do it with the store-bought cookie dough. Okay, so first up, store-bought cookie dough. I do suggest getting the Toll House brand. I've tried other brands, even the cheaper ones. It just doesn't taste the same. And this is a 36-ounce bucket. 1 ounce dough balls will give you 36 cookies, and you definitely want to portion your cookie dough. Remember, you're doing this for profit, so trying to be exact in weight and measurement really helps your profit. I only got this amount. That bucket was already used. I put it on a parchment paper, cover it with cling film, and I am going to freeze these dough balls because it makes it so much easier to store it in a Ziploc baggie once they're individually frozen. The cookies. And the trick here is that if you are going to go into the business of baking these store-bought cookies, you want to pre-freeze the dough balls to make your work easier as you get orders in. So I'm just going to put these into a Ziploc baggie or a freezer baggie. And I want to mention prepping your cookie dough this way, whether it is homemade or store purchased, prepping it this way makes the workflow easier for the week when you need to crank out these orders. You can pre-measure everything. So here we have an online content creator that does a home bakery, Bonjour Bakery, and this is how they prep and bake and get orders ready. And so here I'm pretending I got an order for a dozen cookies, and I'm going to bake this in a preheated oven at 350 degrees from frozen. It's going to take like 13 minutes or so, or until it looks like this. And then I'm going to remove it. And then you'll definitely want to cool the cookies before packaging them. I'm utilizing things out of my home, so if this were my home bakery, I would not have to invest a lot for like tools or baking pans and cooling cookie wire racks. It all works in my kitchen for right now. So once these are cooled, I'm using what I have on hand. I had these loaf pans from Christmas. I found them. I have some cellophane bags. I also have these bags that you could make loaves of bread. I'm just going to work with it today just to kind of give you an idea of like how I would package my order if I had to start today, because I had these things. And in my opinion, I would sell a dozen cookies if I'm making these regular size cookies that aren't too thick or chunky or big. I just think it's more appealing if they're this style of chocolate chip cookie to sell them by the dozen. So into the bag they go. Again, there are so many ways that you can package your cookies. I'm just using these things that I had in my pantry. And here we are. And you just fold it. This came with stickers, so I'll stick the back. And I would sell this dozen of cookies for $10. And you definitely can adjust the price to what you feel it's worth. Okay, so for those of you that are like, no, I wouldn't pay that amount for a dozen of those cookies. Like I said, speaking from my own personal experience, take my money. If I'm busy at work and you came around my office and you're selling those cookies, take my money now. If Angelica needed to make an extra $100 today, I'm going with a chocolate chip cookie. Think if I had to find 10 orders today. You tap into your family and friends, you give a friend a call, hey, anybody at your work want some freshly baked cookies? I can be there in 2 hours, or something like that. Like, those are things that I would suggest you tap into. Your community, your friends, and family. Even at your own job. If you're working full-time and part-time at like a store or an office or a company, ask a couple of your coworkers, would you be interested in freshly baked cookies? I can bring some tomorrow, and you can give samples. If they like the samples, they are more than likely going to say like, you know what? Heck yes, bring me those cookies. Pre-made cookie dough. I would sell it $10 per dozen times 3. That's $30 per batch. You subtract what it costs to buy the pre-made cookie dough, that's a $22 profit. And if you have 9 orders in a day, that's a $66 per day profit times 4 days a week, $264 a week. You multiply that by 4 weeks, you clear your $1,000. Again, you need to factor in what you can use to package it. But I say it's a great way to make extra income.
$1,000 a month isn't bad. However, this is not enough to get off of disability. It is enough to supplement your income if you're not going over your limit. Make sure that you report all and any income to your Social Security department. Have a great day.